Hi, it's Mike Carroll with Intelligent Conversations with a quick video on sales management best practices. Today, I want to focus on the best practices for effective sales leadership coaching sessions that really should be taking place on a weekly or at least a bi-weekly basis between every sales manager in your organization and the salespeople who are out in the field trying to generate revenue for your business. So let's talk about what we often see and then talk about what we should or what we would hope to see in high performing sales organizations in businesses that are rapidly scaling up. What we normally see is busy, harried, frustrated sales managers who are going to the wrong kinds of meetings. They're spending time on internal company issues. They're running ineffective sales meetings. They're trying to ride over the hill like the cavalry to save deals when salespeople are being ineffective. They're spending their time, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's necessary for the experience and the perspective of a seasoned sales manager to focus on an important deal. But if that's all that's happening, if that's the norm, not the exception, it's a barrier to growing your business and scaling up your business. So what I would suggest is about 50% of an effective sales leader's time should be spent actively coaching their team. Not the usual kind of ad hoc coaching that we often see. Got a minute, let's quickly review this. Let me go on a ride along on an important deal. It should be a structured, scheduled meeting between salesperson and sales manager on at least a bi-weekly, ideally a weekly basis. It can be a phone call or face-to-face, but once it's booked, it should be held every week, just like a sales appointment. When you start doing that, you need to do a couple things. Number one, everybody on the sales team should really be proactively planning their week, looking every Friday at what did I accomplish this week, what are my top priorities for the following week, and thinking about it with the end in mind. What are the outcomes I need to produce next week, so that when I get to the end of the week, I can look back and say, yes, that's a very productive week. And so think in terms of number of net new meetings they need to generate, or number of proposals or sales follow-ups, or other activities. But it should be outcome based, not activity based, in terms of planning your week. Ideally, best practice, that weekly planning activity is an email or some logged on your CRM or whatever, sent to the sales manager every Friday for the following week. And then during the weekly call the next week, coaching session, one-on-one, face-to-face, or a phone call, the first question the manager should ask is, okay, tell me about your goals. Did you hit your goals this week? Or are you on track for your goals this week? If not, why not? Let's talk about what happened. Maybe there's some internal policies or some things that I, as your manager, can help remove so you can focus on the activities that are going to generate revenue and help us scale the business. But also, let's talk about things that you're just not getting to, and let's talk about that conversation as well, and what needs to change from a behavioral and activity perspective so that you're consistently starting to produce the outcomes that you plan every week. So that's sort of the beginning of a formal, structured coaching session. Then what I want a sales manager to do is to look at specific calls. Don't go into every single call. Don't look at their calendar and drill down on everything. But pick one or two key calls, or have the salesperson pick one or two key calls and do a deep dive on that call. So I might say something like, tell me about the best call you had this week. What made it so good? Where did the call end? What are the next steps? What has the prospect committed to doing? What internal support do you need? Let's talk about the compelling reasons you found during your discovery conversation. Do we really have everything we need? Have we effectively explored all the issues? Can we build a case? Starting to get into a very deep conversation about how far is the salesperson going. Are they making assumptions? Are they taking things for granted? Are they establishing the right kind of rapport? Do they understand all the different players in the account? All of those types of things. Doing that on a selective basis, going deep on a call, rather than what I often see, which is sales managers kind of skimming across the surface, asking about key performance indicators and metrics, and just kind of looking at very tactical, technical issues, rather than broader, deeper issues that you get when you drill down on one or two phone calls. And then what I want you to do is keep careful notes as a sales manager, document what your salespeople are telling you every week. And when you start to do that, when you get in the habit of doing this every week or at least every other week, you'll start to see patterns and trends emerging. Not only feedback from the field, which is something many times we miss in the ad hoc, got a minute kind of approach. You start to see trends, you start to see competitive threats, you start to get that real-time feedback from your team, but also looking at, hey, this salesperson continually struggles when it comes to a complex multi-party sales conversation. Or this salesperson continually struggles when it comes to some other aspect of the deal, asking for money or whatever it is. When you observe those patterns over time, you're able to start to coach more effectively and work on the underlying issues, not just the surface tactical issues. So that's my advice in terms of best practices for establishing a structured routine of a sales manager, salesperson coaching rhythm. Mike Carroll with Intelligent Conversations. Thanks for your time and attention. Good luck and good selling.